Warning: what you're about to learn might cause sudden bursts of curiosity and uncontrollable thinking. Don't worry, it is not fatal. So what were earlier times like? During their debates in the 1850s, Abraham Lincoln and Stephen A. Douglas took 1 to 3 hours each to give a speech. They'd then take equally long to respond to each other, with audience members sometimes listening for up to 7 hours. Compare this to the 21st century, where one of the most common entertainment forms is TikTok videos that last approximately 35 seconds on average. Americans spend hours a day on social media, scrolling through endless videos, social updates and memes. Does it ever feel meaningless to you? Just a way of distracting ourselves from the mundaneness or deep disappointment of what our lives have become. Ecclesiastes 1:8 sums up our age well. All things are full of weariness. A man cannot utter it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. We're consuming content that goes half an inch deep and continues on a never-ending cycle. We've lost the ability to concentrate on reading the Bible for more than a few minutes without checking our phones. We've forgotten the art and joy of conversing about deep topics. We can't focus on a speech or sermon without our minds wandering. While entertainment isn't sinful, we need to ask ourselves if it's affecting our spiritual growth. Jesus commands us in Mark 12:30, "Love the Lord your God with all your mind." Our minds are connected to our affections. When we limit mindless entertainment and replace it with deeper content and conversations, our relationship with God and others will benefit. So how can we grow in deeper thinking? And do we even want to? Tony Reinke writes, "God has given us the power of concentration in order for us to see and avoid what is false, fake, and transient, so that we may gaze directly at what is true, stable, and eternal." As our ability to concentrate is eroded by cheap entertainment, so too is our ability to discern truth and focus on what has eternal value. We're wasting God's precious gift of time and attention and lavishing it on the trivial and ridiculous. The goal of growing deeper in our thinking isn't to flaunt our knowledge or win arguments to prove ourselves right or powerful. Rather, as Jonathan Edwards said, we should seek it for the benefit of souls, both ours and those we love. Our souls are strengthened when we think deeply about the things of God. But if we struggle to think deeply about anything, how might we grow our skills? One place to start would be to start to study Bible books inductively. This involves a systematic approach of going verse by verse through a book to understand its original intent, with a commentary or two at our side. The skill of studying God's Word will set the stage for all other forms of study. Another important habit is to read the classics, especially from different eras. Not only will they expand your vocabulary and attention span, but the complex storylines and moral truths within them will point your attention and imagination back to God's ultimate truth. You can also read older theologians such as Charles Spurgeon and Jonathan Edwards. Their deep understanding of God was a reflection of many hours of study. The founding fathers such as Adams, Jefferson, Washington, and Hamilton also offer profound insight. Their reflections on society pointed towards the value they placed on reason and a pursuit of education. As you engage with great writers, you can share their literary gifts by hosting discussion nights with friends. The room will burst with energy by utilizing a framework based on the Socratic method. As people come with open-ended questions on a topic, everyone participates in asking and answering those questions. There is nothing quite as delightful as a well-worded question to open up new vistas of understanding. You can also listen to and organize debates where both sides are defended and challenged. The more you engage in discussions, often called the dialectic, the more your brain will start recognizing rhetorical and logical devices and inconsistencies. As we grow in the discipline of thinking and conversation, you may come to reconsider how much of the modern technological world we should let in. Do you feel stuck in the digital trap of entertainment, where tech companies and algorithms vie for your attention? You know this consumption of mental junk food isn't good for you, but you keep giving in, like a hand going back for one more potato chip. A few years ago, I was spending too much time on entertainment and not enough on deeper thinking, so I started making small changes. They weren't radical, but they cultivated more disciplined thinking. Some of these came after reading Cal Newport's Digital Minimalism, which I recommend. When considering making a change, a great place to start is with a digital inventory. Become aware of your habits. Track how much time you spend on your phone or on other digital entertainment. As you assess your digital consumption levels, You may want to initiate a digital detox to break your dependence. This might include deleting certain apps, making physical changes like using a regular watch or alarm clock, or setting an unwind time when you're off screens before bed. A healthy person will set limitations on media consumption and make conscious choices instead of flowing endlessly with the current. You don't have to eliminate entertainment, but you should set parameters for when and how you use it. As you begin to imagine what you want your life to look like and produce, you will most likely consider introducing new habits of reading and educating yourself to replace entertainment time. You can set timers or practical goals like 10 pages or 30 minutes a day of reading to help retrain your brain. Reading may seem boring at first, but soon your brain will acclimate to the challenge and you can increase your goals. Adding in the dynamic of group accountability by forming a book club with friends who also want to grow can be the extra incentive and reward to get yourself going. The accountability will motivate you to read, and discussing the material will help it stick longer. We may have gradually and unintentionally adopted our culture's entertainment habits, but we can purposefully create our own culture of discipline and deep thinking. Proverbs 1:5 implores us, "Let the wise hear and increase in learning, and the one who understands obtain guidance." Our society desperately needs more people who can think wisely, discern clearly, and guide the next generation in God's truth. It sounds like a big task, but it can start with something as small as turning off the TV and picking up a good book. So what book will you pick up first, and which friend will you get together to talk about it with? Remember, learning isn't about being perfect. It's about being brave enough to grow, even though it might be a little painful.